So your treatment, and we talked about this, and this is probably what we should have learned. Remember, the treatment directed at malignancy as well as treatment of your secondary site. We're going to focus on those guidelines and more. When your treatment is directed at the malignancy, guideline C2A, that's your first guideline. The cancer being treated will be your RFE, your reason for the encounter, or what you're going to sequence first. Okay? The only exception line is if the patient's receiving chemotherapy, immunotherapy, radiation therapy, or external beam therapy. Okay, so if the encounter is for those reasons, you're going to use the encounter code first, but remember, code the treatment that's directed at the malignancy. All right, guideline C2I1, treatment directed at primary site. Sequence what's being treated first. So if the primary cancer is being treated, cancer. Someone said my mic is going out. One moment. All right. 1 second. Thank you for letting me know. All right, coders, where did my mic, did a lot of the content go out? Team, did a lot of my content go out? Anything? Please let me know. It's still a little off.
Yes, Mrs. J, it seems dropping at times.
Interesting. Hang on. And this is a new headset. Why did I do this? Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. It's still dropping. Someone said they can hear me now.
It's good now, Miss J.
I hope so. Come on, everybody. All right, so we'll figure out why I'm having this problem, but I want to still go through the guidelines. Treatment of the secondary site. Sequence what is being treated. If they're treating secondary cancer, sequence that first, followed by primary cancer. And the only exception to the rule, encounters for radiation therapy, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, etc. Now, I want to give you, I already told you this. This is a tip. It's a good Mrs. J's tip. The treatment be sequenced before. You know, that will be sequenced first. So if the treatment's secondary, that will be sequenced first. So always pay attention to what is being treated. I got another tip. Know the neoplasm categories on site. Yes, typically the lower C's are primary cancer. That's C00 through C76.9. These are primary cancer. And then your upper C's, the C77 through C79.9, that's secondary cancer. Just know that. There are other cancers after C79.9, which are primary, but these are the ones that I want you to pay attention to because you'll be able, these are the common codes. These are the common code series that you're going to encounter when you take this exam. Yeah, I said it. Now, I got a challenge. All right. You all ready for a challenge? Okay. Exercise 1. A. C50.321, C79.51B, C50.421, C79.51, C, C79.51, C50.421, and D, C79.21. All right, coders. This is why we say read your answers first, especially for these neoplasms, because if you applied the tips, see those little coins, that's your reminder. So you can just look at this. This is primary, secondary, primary, secondary, secondary, primary, secondary, primary. All right. Somebody put the answer in. I bet she didn't look it up. All right. Thomas has cancer in the lower inner quadrant of his right breast with secondary cancer to the bone. He's being treated for his metastasized cancer. Okay, coders, you don't need any time. You all are rocking and rolling. Keep going. Keep going. I'm enjoying this. Okay, we only got 4 people responding. They stopped. Okay, we got some more coming in. Outstanding. In fact, you should not have to look up too much. Just a little. Just a little. Okay, so we're kind of doing this one together. There's no timer here. You'll have a timer on the next one. So I'll show you what I did. Well, first things I'm going to do is highlight my cancer. He has cancer of the lower inner quadrant of the right breast. If you watch the lecture, you'll understand how the breast is divided when it comes to coding. And the patient also has secondary cancer to the bone. And he's being treated for metastasized cancer. Yeah, so men do get breast cancer, if you were wondering. Now, I'm going to go look at that same guideline, C2B, treatment of secondary cancer. If you want to follow along with the guidelines in your MCG manual, please do so. So we are told to sequence your secondary first, followed by the primary. So on site, we can eliminate 2 answers. Which 2 can we eliminate, coders? Yes, on site, we can eliminate A and B, right? How can we eliminate those, Mrs. J? Based upon that tip I just gave you, the lower C's are under C79, whatever I said it was. The lower C, and the upper C is typically secondary. So the lower C is primary and the upper C is secondary. And if this patient is being treated for metastasized or secondary cancer, then we need to be sequencing that secondary cancer first. And A and B are not. They're sequencing the primary first. I just feel like I'm beating a dead horse because I think you all get this. Well, you act like it. Outstanding. All right, so that leaves us with C and D. And you know what? You don't have to look that up in the book. You can cross those out right away. And if you can, you've just saved time on your exam. Now, let's go ahead and let's finish coding this out. C50.32. The C50.421. Okay, so C50.321 is the code for malignant neoplasm of lower inner quadrant of the right male breast. Okay, those are our key words. It's matching it up just right. Lower inner quadrant, right breast. And Thomas, I'm going to assume, is a male. And C50.421, malignant neoplasm of upper outer quadrant of right male breast. So it is that specific, and you should pay attention, be very forensic to pay attention to make sure that you're coding for the correct portion of the breast. So we're already have eliminated, oh my goodness, I'm out of order. We eliminated A and B. Now, let's go ahead to C79.51. This is correct for secondary malignant neoplasm of the bone, secondary cancer of the bone. And there's our guideline. We have to sequence the secondary first. And D is our answer. All right, coders. How are you? Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. All right. Now we got another one. We're in a rhythm. Let's do it. You guys make this look easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, see my little tip down there? Don't forget the tip, okay? Of the following, which best describes the encounter? A, C79.51, C50.919, B, Z08, C50.919, C79.51, C, C50.919, C79.51, D, C08, C79.51, C50.919. Alexis arrives at the oncologist's office for 6 months review of her breast cancer treatments. During the encounter, it was discovered that the cancer had spread to her vertebrae. The oncologist adjusted her therapy regimen to include the secondary cancer. Of the following, which best describes the encounter? Okay, coders, you're going to need some time. So your time begins. I think you have 2 minutes to solve. Your time begins now. How are you doing? I can't move. I can't see the chat while you're working. So, wow, this is good. This is good. I like it. I like it. All right. So, someone said they're confused. Not for. Okay. All right. So, let's go ahead and determine cancers. We have breast cancer. This patient's in here for a 6-month review of her breast cancer treatments. And it's been determined during that encounter that the cancer has spread to her vertebrae. And the oncologist pretty much just adjusted the existing therapy. And you know what? If somebody said, hey, I'm confused, then you should be, because we don't know which cancer was treated, right? We don't know which one. We don't know. We don't know which one was where the treatment was directed, but there is a guideline that helps us. All right, so if you look at the same guideline, C2.A, treatment at the malignancy site, below, it says when a patient has both primary and secondary cancer, but the documentation does not specify the reason for the encounter. It's not real clear, but then again, maybe it is. They were discussing her breast cancer. I don't know. But if you have a circumstance where you can't tell, your primary cancer will be the default. So when you can't tell or you don't know, primary is your default. So that one will supersede the secondary. Primary will supersede the secondary. So with that said, we can eliminate some things, right? On site. Go ahead, coders, type in the chat. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Somebody said A, B, and D. Well, just based upon this guideline, we can eliminate A and D. The secondary cancer, we know this is secondary, C79 secondary, right? And B and C are sequencing the primary before the secondary. Okay? I'm going to let that marinade. You all with me? I really want to know if you're with me because cool beans. I need to know that you're with me or not because I don't want to have conversations that we shouldn't be having. Indeed. Outstanding. All right. So the doctor didn't specify. We can't tell what is the reason for the encounter. We can't tell where the treatment is being directed. So we're going to apply this guideline, and primary will be default, right? So we're going to eliminate A and D because they're sequencing secondary before the primary. Now let's go ahead and finish this out. All right. And D are done. Now look at B and C. What is the difference between the two? Well, B is sequencing this Z08 first. So let's take a look at this Z08, right? We know C50.919 is correct. It has to be there in both answers. And C79.51 is also correct for correct. And here's why. Because this code is to be used for follow-up examination after completed treatments for malignant neoplasms. Okay, coders. We don't know based upon this documentation that the patient has completed her treatments. It just says that this is a 6-month review of her breast cancer treatments. They're reviewing it. And then at the end, it says that the oncologist adjusted her therapy regimen to include the secondary cancer. So they didn't say it was terminated. Looks like it's still going on to me. So Z08 should not be coded. You only use this when the cancer has been treated completely and it is completely eradicated from the body. So B, gotta go. And don't forget this guideline that if it's not clear which cancer is being treated, primary should be sequenced first. So B gotta go, C is our answer. All right, coders. Now I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit. I was just a little slow just for on purpose.
Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, happy coding.